Alright you guys, welcome back to the channel. Here for some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC speculation and discussions. Massive thanks to Shinai for bringing this old Datamine back up. This actually dropped back in 2024 before the game even released. The original Dataminer, Mondomega, so shout outs to both of them. The reason why I want to talk about it for today is because it's relevant. As we all know, we just got the DLC Pack 4 announcement, which confirmed a few characters. Super Saiyan Bardock, Demon King Piccolo, Super 17, Champa, General Tao, Zangia, Pikkon, Grandpa Gohan, and even Devilman, who's not in this picture, but he is confirmed. So if we go back to the tweet over here, it says Datamine roster files matches 7 characters that have been confirmed for the next wave of DLC so far. And this is going to be the actual image over here. First, it says several characters listed have since become officially confirmed DLC. That doesn't mean the remaining entries are guaranteed to follow, but it does suggest that the list reflected more than just discarded data in theory. So there are a ton of characters. Do keep in mind that every single character listed in this Datamine doesn't necessarily mean they'll be in the game. It very well could be a coincidence, but again, these are Datamine files, so just take everything with the smallest grain of salt. Here it is. All the characters highlighted in red aren't in the game, so you can see we have Supreme Kai, Pikkon, who again has been confirmed to be part of the next DLC wave. So this is why I just want to talk about this again, because it is relevant. Grandpa Gohan. Let's actually zoom in a bit more. Nam, Android 8, Chi-Chi, and there are other highlighted boxes, but with question marks. Maybe transformed characters. You know, maybe this Datamine doesn't necessarily cover the transformations, only the base starting characters. I'm just speculating over here. Yamu, who's, you know, the subordinate to Spopovich. Demon King Piccolo, another character who was recently confirmed. Jocko, Zeno, Grand Minister, Mai. So other characters that are human, something similar to Hercule, very well could be in the game at a later date. Her fighting style could be interesting. Is she going to be wielding a weapon, a shotgun? You know what I mean? Kogoma, Zeno's assistant, Champa, again, another character who was recently confirmed. Vados, a ton of empty question mark slots. Over here on the right, we have King Vegeta, which will be a great addition in my personal opinion. Fasha, Apul, Salza, Zangia, another character who was recently confirmed. And this character right here in between Vegeta and Shin Shenron, the question mark, I'm assuming that's a Super 17, because this is technically the GT category. And again, he was recently confirmed right over here. Mercenary Tao, another character. General Blue, Spike the Devilman, another one. Pilaf Machine, Tambarone from original Dragon Ball. Green Dragon, I think he would be a great addition. And underneath Bergamo, we have the trio De Danger, the rest of the squad, Lavendale and Bazel. I think those characters will also be great additions. And that's pretty much it. So very interesting stuff. I just want to reiterate, I know some of these characters were just recently confirmed with the upcoming DLC Pack 4, but doesn't necessarily mean the other characters highlighted in red will be in the game. Just want to make that clear. It's just speculation, theories at this point, but it is very interesting. If this does have some truth to it, then Android 8, Nam, Chi-Chi, more original Dragon Ball representation. That would be kind of strange. I mean, these characters they're cool, don't get me wrong, but they're not necessarily a hype DLC in my personal opinion, because we already got Superhero, the Daima characters. Now they're going to be bringing back original Budokai Tenkaichi 3 characters that technically should have been in the game already, since this is a true sequel, but I do understand at the same time that it's a completely different engine with Unreal Engine 5. You know, they're creating the characters from the ground up. They very well could be different from BT3 as well, with revamped super/ultimate attacks, different combo strings. So I don't mind at the end of the day, but I know some people in the comments might think that these characters should have been in the game, which is understandable, don't get me wrong. It's just interesting how they're going about it. Super Saiyan Bardock, that's a great one just because wasn't in BT3 Super Saiyan Edition, right? Actually, the more I think about it, we're not entirely sure if the 9 characters that were just confirmed from the DLC trailer, if those are going to be all the characters for the upcoming DLC. You know what I mean? They very well could be revealing additional characters beyond the 9 that we have here. We're just speculating even further. So going back to the Datamine, maybe we'll be seeing the rest of the highlighted characters, or maybe they could possibly be planning future DLCs, which I'm assuming so. Again, take everything with the smallest grain of salt, but just wanted to break this down once more. Specifically, let's go over the question mark boxes, the highlighted ones. So if we take a look at the left column, you can see the final character is Dodoria, 360 character ID, and then the continuation from that one is going to be 370 Q, the third column up here. So it is kind of out of order. But if we go to the very bottom, Tambourine, 750, this column starts off with Spovovich, 760. You can see that when we get up to the 990 character, Vados, and the other DBS characters, Champa, Zeno's assistant, and Togama. Underneath all of that, I'm assuming the highlighted question marks are Dragon Ball Super characters. So how many question mark highlighted ones do we have? We got 12 here, and then the fourth column on the far right is going to be the continuation, because it does say 1120 and then 1130 over here. So that's 12. I think there's a total of 50 highlighted question mark boxes underneath the Champa and Vado characters. So does that mean 50 additional Dragon Ball Super characters on the horizon? Now, of course, we do have to minus Analaza, Ribrian, Kakuza, Rosie, and Bergamo, so that's 5. So technically 45 DBS characters, and nothing is confirmed, but comment down below the Dragon Ball Super characters, or characters in general, that aren't necessarily in the Datamine that you would like to see in upcoming Sparking Zero DLCs. That could be very interesting. So down here it does say, the fact that later confirmed DLC already existed here in the Datamine strengthens the idea a bit that this list maybe represents planned expansion candidates and possibly not just cut content. Speculation. So moving forward, we do have additional tweets by Shinai. Could they be holding back these assets to polish them for a massive DLC expansion later? Well, if this Datamine holds any truth to it, I'm assuming this most makes sense, because they have their DLCs planned out. They don't necessarily put out all their characters at once. Just take a look at Season Pass 1. You know, we got 3 separate DLCs. So if this truly is a Season Pass 2, then I'm assuming we'll be getting additional DLCs with all the respective characters. I mean, they already planned that they're going to be supporting Sparking Zero for many more years. This is now what they're doing with all their current Dragon Ball games. Take a look at Xenoverse 2. That game came out in 2016. Literally a decade later, they're still supporting it with Future Saga Chapter DLCs. Same thing goes for Dragon Ball FighterZ. They just announced the upcoming Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, going to be dropping probably Q2 of 2026. That game came out 2018, I believe. So it's already been 8 years of supporting that game. You could say the same thing for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That game came out in 2020. They just dropped the Daima Part 2 DLC in 2026. So that's 6 years of supporting that game. So Sparking Zero, yeah, it's only been, what, a year and a half, maybe? So they have additional DLCs plans. And it very well could be these Datamine characters, or a lot of them that aren't even Datamine, question mark Dragon Ball Super characters. Who knows, man? But very interesting stuff. Stay tuned for all of that. It fits the logic of building a foundation first, then expanding. The Great Saiyaman 2 or Super 17 are already eternally mapped out under existing characters. Is it only a matter of time? Okay, so we have additional Datamine info over here. Something about Great Saiyaman 2, who's of course Videl, and Super 17. Mondo, the original data miner. My take is these characters possibly aren't random strings. They're assigned proper eternal IDs, which could imply models, movesets, or at least development placeholders. Some alternate forms, Great Saiyaman 2, Kibito Kai, Super 17, and even the other Shadow Dragons are also listed underneath the base characters. It also then says TLDR, don't know what that means. Basically, every missing veteran from BT3 was planned and probably still coming as DLC eventually. Okay, and then the image on the right, let's zoom up a bit. Mondo, again, the Datamine info came out 2024 before the release of Sparking Zero, or maybe a little bit after the release of the game, because it does say October 10th. I think that's when the game dropped. There's also strong evidence that Uzaru Goku and Super Saiyan 1 Caulifla were scrapped as transformations, as well as base forms for Garlic Jr., Frost, Ribrianne, Kanza, and Rosie. The versions of the characters currently in the game being eternally treated as first transformations rather than base, which they have been doing that. Taking a look at the pre-order bonus, Daima Base Goku, for example, it was just his base form, and then with the actual Daima DLC packs, they updated the character with transformations. So yeah, even the characters with the transformations, as the tweet said, maybe they're not necessarily scrapped forever. They could be part of upcoming updates or DLC packs, right? Who knows, man? Who knows? So going over here to the final one, ultimately, we're left with one big question. Is this the blueprints for DLC? Whether these were launch constraints or a strategic plan for the future, the evidence of eternal IDs for characters like Super 17, Pikkon, Champa, King Piccolo, Tao, and Devilman is hard to ignore because, again, they're now confirmed characters and they were data mines a while ago. This isn't confirmation of any content. Alright, so just some reiteration over here. Just an older data mine that showed that some of those entries became official down the line. This doesn't guarantee the rest will follow, but it does make the remaining names worth paying attention to. And these are the remaining names, just, you know, the character images. The interesting thing for me, not necessarily the characters that are named, but as I said before, the question mark slots that aren't necessarily named. Are these going to be Dragon Ball Super characters? As I explained before, you know, it kind of seems like these are the DBS category, if you will, because it's under Vado, Champa, Kagoma. And we also have other question marks, like right here underneath Android 8, Nam, Grandpa Gohan. So could these be additional Dragon Ball characters? And then going over here to the right, as I said before, the question mark box in between Shenron and Vegeta, you know, that's probably Super 17. So it only makes sense the question mark boxes underneath the super characters are probably DBS characters. That's, again, just speculation. This very well won't see the light of day. We always have to wait for official confirmation, like what happened recently with the upcoming DLC 4-pack, right? So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about all of this. Shoutouts to Mondo, the original data miner, and shoutouts to Shinai for providing the concept illustration art pieces and for bringing back this topic of discussion. This is it for today's video. Thank you guys for the immense support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace!